Alright, what's going on, everyone? We're back here again. Uh, I'm CJ, he's Gilps. We're back here, and it's been a while since we've sat down and recorded one of these, huh?
Yeah, it's been
We've
too long.
we said that last time as well, I know, but now it's been even longer.
hmm
We're in the dead of summer now, so yeah, we've had some stuff going on, but yeah, we're in the dog days of the baseball season, as they say. I know it was Canada Day last time we sat here, so it's been over a month, but.
Yeah,
You know what? Good to kind of get that break. Now we're back here, re-energized for down the stretch. Every game matters more. It's like a playoff atmosphere almost, these last few series, don't you think?
oh yeah, for sure. Every game and every
Yeah.
series matters.
So we're here for the good stuff. I think every week we're going to be here recording this. And as for the summer, I mean, personally, we went to that game on the Canada Day. Uh, yeah, that was a good weekend, Canada Day and everything. And then the weekend after, I went backcountry camping.
Nice,
And then
nice.
after that, went kayaking, and the one weekend played golf, and then uh, yeah, just time's been flying by as it always does in the summer. And then for the past, I was actually working at the National Bank Open for those who aren't aware, so I was away for that for a while. And yeah, now here we are. What have you been up to?
Pretty well. Just trying to live the best as I can throughout the summer. Like
Yeah,
summer's
don't
gone.
let
Like
it go.
yeah,
No.
exactly. Like living it to the fullest, right?
Yep, we did make it to one more Blue Jays game on July 28th, the Friday night against the Angels. That was a
Yeah,
fun game to be at, seeing them win.
yeah, for sure.
That's the game Jordan Romano happened to go down, but he's back now, and he's he's back.
Buddy's back,
Yeah,
feeling great,
good for
pitching
him
great.
too. It's like the last few years, like he's gets first half of the season he gets overworked maybe a bit, but then they save him a little bit, and then second half he's there, and
So, you think he looks like vintage Romano right now?
yep.
Yeah, me too.
You see, he had that issue in the All Star game there, and then I don't know, like he wasn't bad after that. He had some good outings, but it was like, like he'd come in a non-save situation, give up a run, whatever, and then maybe his
Yeah,
whip wasn't the best. But that game we went to, he gets two outs, but then he can't finish it. Jimmy comes in,
yeah.
and then Romano goes on the IL. And you know what? It worked out because it was about 15 days, didn't need any longer than that. And then he
Yeah.
comes in, gets a standing ovation from the crowd the other night against the Phillies in that tight game,
It
and
must
then
have made him
comes
feel
in
great, right?
three up, three down.
Let's go.
The Death Man, as he's known in the Yahoo Fantasy chat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so there was that, and then I don't know what else have you been up to? Any big trips or anything?
Nothing really.
Yeah,
It's kind of been like a low key summer. It's kind of flown
yeah,
by, but I obviously wanted to do more. But just been playing baseball once a week, and
yeah.
that is it.
It's yeah, it really goes by fast when you think about
Yeah,
it. But
for sure.
yeah, I've played golf a few times, not a whole lot compared to other years, and then trying to get in as much kayaking as I can, bike
Nice.
riding, all that stuff, and then watching baseball, and then
I have golf
speaking.
like 3 times this year.
Yeah, I went to Wooden Sticks the other day, and it was like
Nice.
my first time playing in over a month. That's not really the place you want to go in that
No,
circumstance, but
right.
yeah. And then anyway, yeah, as for other stuff, like I said, the kayaking and the biking and whatnot, just enjoying nature. Not to mention our baseball team, which I know we talked about it a bit at the beginning. We had like, let's not to over exaggerate. It was a pretty horrible start. We weren't
Yeah,
expecting to be a great team, but we went winless in the first like 7 games or something like that. A lot of them
unfortunately.
not even close. But I'm talking about this now because we've won two in a row. So
Hopefully 3 on Sunday.
yeah, hopefully three.
Right, that's the plan.
Yep. So we've got that. Uh, Anything else you wanted to mention before we get into things?
No, I think let's just dive right in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? First things first. Let's talk about the Leafs a little bit.
Yeah,
I know there's a couple things. I mean, on Canada Day while we were together at that game, they made a few moves. One of them, Michael Bunting being gone, that kind of surprised me.
yeah, me too.
Yep. I didn't expect that from him. I thought he was a guy who wanted to play for the Leafs. So his favorite team growing up, it was his
Yeah,
dream, and
it's
now
like
he's
that he's
here.
gone,
And
right?
then yeah, he goes to North Carolina. Like, why would he want to play there? Especially it's like, yeah, you get to go to a good team, but like playing for a team that's already good and your hometown and everything.
Yeah,
Not what I expected.
exactly.
But
Losing. Ryan O'Reilly, Luke
Yeah,
Shen.
losing Ryan O'Reilly too, and Luke Shen.
That was tough.
But getting back, I mean, Max Domi, people have talked a lot about. You know, he's played for a million teams, and he's not a great player, but
And the animal Ryan Reeves.
I think Domi's a guy though, being here and with his old man and everything, the history there. I think he'll do well here.
I can't agree
Good
more.
enough, at least maybe hopefully producing middle six forward.
Yeah.
And then Reeves, I mean that toughness. You know,
Oh,
Simmons is gone now, and he was not really playing much anyway, if at all,
right.
for the last year. I mean, he was
Yeah.
barely on the roster even.
Aurora guy.
And then, yeah, I mean, they didn't really have any other toughness, so adding Reeves is big for that. And then, not to mention the biggest move was on defense, adding John Klingberg. That kind of went under the radar.
Yeah, that was a huge.
Yeah, he's a hell of a defenseman. So I don't know what to expect from that team next year. We really don't, but hopefully it all works out.
What are your thoughts on Sheldon Keefe being kept as their coach?
I was surprised just because knowing that Dubas was gone and he was Dubas's guy. You know, normally in those situations, one goes, they both go. Or normally a new GM comes in, they want to bring in their own guy, but that wasn't the case.
Exactly.
So
yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
And then as for the Blue Jays, I mean, we knew the position that they were in about a month ago, more than a month ago now, Canada Day.
Yeah.
They were around 10 games above 500. It was halfway through the season. And you know what? They had their ups and downs. They lost that series against the Red Sox. That was brutal. You know, the game Canada Day.
Yeah.
They really should have won that game.
Oh, for sure.
And then, a couple more of those. And then after that, though, they had that great series against the Tigers.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just been so up and down. Like, it looked like they were having a great July at one point, but then they lose the series to the Padres, right? Which, again, there were winnable games. And then they lost the series to the Mariners, which, I mean,
that's tough.
Every single one of those games was winnable.
Oh, for sure.
And they only ended up winning one of them.
Yeah.
It just sucks for all the Blue Jays fans there. Shout out to my sister, I guess, who was there for that and
nice.
saw 2 losses.
Oh, not nice.
But every single time the Blue Jays are in Seattle, they never have a good series, right? It's always what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But cool to see all the fans out there supporting. It's really become a thing in the last few years, huh?
I noticed that for sure.
It used to be there was a lot of Blue Jays fans there. It was a thing. But now it's like there's more Blue Jays fans than Mariners fans. And the Mariners season ticket holders just don't bother showing up and they sell their tickets to Blue Jays fans.
Yeah, not to mention the memorabilia and jerseys and hats, etc. in their shop there, as you would call it in Seattle, selling Jays stuff.
Yeah, pretty cool and everything.
Yeah, but, for sure.
Yeah, they lost a couple winnable games there. One of them was the bullpen. And then I know Pearson blew up the lead in the other game. And then I remember just seeing they actually had a chance to tie it in the 9th. Merrifield was at third, came in as a pinch runner.
Yeah.
And then whoever it was hit the fly ball. It was like they didn't send him. Why do you bring him in to pinch run if he's the tying run at third and you're not even going to send him?
Yeah, like that makes no sense.
So there's that. And then, they had a great series against the Dodgers after that, winning 2 out of 3.
Yeah, that was
but
huge.
The one that they lost, though, I think in my opinion, that's hopefully it doesn't get any worse than this. I think that's like the lowest point of the whole season.
Yeah.
They blew a 7-3 lead in the 9th. I remember it was like midnight, 1 in the morning, and I was still up. And then I turned it off when it was going into the bottom of the 9th, up by 4. And they bring in Swanson, who
has been pretty good overall.
Swanson's having a great year, but he's been overworked just a bit. And I think it showed there. But now, obviously, they made some additions. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that was it was out of character for Swanson. He blew a 4-run lead, and all 4 runs were him because I think it was like another situation where they used Romano the day before when they didn't necessarily need to, so he wasn't available. Plus, he was probably struggling with his injury, whatever it was.
Injuries.
What even was it? It was like just tightness.
Tightness in the lower back.
Tightness in the lower back, right?
Whatever
so he just needed some rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, bottom line, there was nobody there to back up Swanson in that game until they brought in Mitch White, and it was too late. But
yeah, is he even on the team anymore?
No, he's gone now, which is good.
God.
But yeah, it's just like ups and downs. They have a great series, but they lose one game they shouldn't have. They have a series where they play well, but they lose 2 of 3. And then the Angels series, I mean, they won 2 out of 3 in that series, right? Or was it 3 of 3? It was 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
But then Manoah obviously hit Taylor Ward in the face that game, and hopefully he's okay. But
jeez.
As for Manoah, I mean, he's been good at times since he came back, but obviously
he's not there yet.
now the 6 guys in the rotation, they sent him back down. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think I think it was the right move in a way because
Yeah.
he's not performing as 100% as he could,
Hmm.
and like I know the Jays have a great coaching staff. Pete Walker, like he's gonna go down to AAA or the farm team system, right? Do his drills, do his everything, get back on his feet, and he'll be back up and lights out. I think again, it's
Yeah.
gonna take time.
Maybe not this year. I don't know.
Right,
At the end of the day, we have Ryu back,
and
and
he's
he's
been
not
looking
he's
good.
not pitching Cy Young caliber, but he's been pretty good since he came back.
Well, it was not. You said that like he pitched a game, got hit in the ankle or the leg, and came right like comebacker,
Yeah.
and he was pitching like 5 scoreless innings, and they had to pull him.
Yeah.
And then the next game he was pretty good as well.
Yeah. So it didn't affect him.
Yeah, so that was
So
huge.
it's good to have him back. We really needed that.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, the pitching on this team has been phenomenal this year. I think there's no doubt, even with Manoah's struggles, like the way everyone else has been. And the bullpen, that was already great, maybe just overworked, if anything. They add Genesis Cabrera, who, I mean,
And Jordan Hicks.
he's not great, but it was big getting another lefty to help Meza.
Yeah.
And then Hicks, who stepped up when Romano was out. Now they've got another setup man.
Yeah, like
so
he
it helps
throws,
Swanson.
Yeah, they have a great pull.
And not to mention, I don't know if Chad Green's ever going to come back because we were talking about him on July 1st like he was going to come back soon, and he's still not back.
Was that a setback? He did his what they call a rehab assignment.
Yeah.
And he got hit in the head, or no, sorry, yeah, he got hit in the head by the catcher throwing to the second base, so he went into concussion protocol for like however long that is. And then I hope to see him and see what he's like, you know.
Yeah, I mean he could help, which it's big. Not to mention, I mean, we talked about Simber and Pop, who both of them, there's still no sign of them coming back.
That's a
I
right
know
off.
Simber was added to the 60-day IL, but at the end of the day, as good as he was last year and the year before, I mean, I think this year the bullpen's good enough. We don't necessarily need him. And then Pop, I mean, it's been April since he's pitched, but
yeah, it's a little disappointing.
overall, like the pitching on this team has been great. The team as a whole, I mean, like it looked like the July ups and downs story the whole season. They end up playing July 12 and 10, so 2 games above 500, which kind of the story of the whole season. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, so they're still in a decent spot, just like they've been the last few years, but they're just not quite where we want them to be. August they got off to a hot start, but then after losing, they lost 2 out of 3 right to the Cubs, and then
that was tough.
Now they're back to like 1 game above 500 in August. So
yeah,
ideally I wanted them to be like at least close to 20 games above 500 by the end of August. I think they're 12 or 13 games above right now. So
and like for the playoff like push and like wild card push, they gotta get into that seed where all the games are in Toronto.
And you know what? I know they'll play well in September because they always do, but we got to make up some ground now.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, you know, especially against your own division, which we've had. It was good to see them sweep the Red Sox, right?
That was huge.
Right? Yeah, because they hadn't won a single game yet this season.
Speaking of that game, Bruce McGuire. Yeah. Nope.
Then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles, right? Which that's tough.
Yeah. But like we kind of knew like last year when the Orioles were so bad, they come back.
I'm just
have
worried,
a bounce back
like,
year.
You have that series against the Orioles, and they've lost a lot to them this year, just like all the teams in the AL East.
Yeah.
You worry that they're going to start to run away with this thing. Obviously, I think like last time we were here, Tampa was still way ahead, but you know, like we said this at the beginning, when Tampa was so far ahead, it's like, hey, if you just play well consistently, you're gonna catch them. They're not gonna play at this rate the whole season.
Exactly.
Sure enough, they're not even in first place anymore.
Baltimore
But meanwhile, Baltimore, they've capitalized on that opportunity. I mean, overall, like the last couple months, the AL East hasn't been playing as good overall. Like the Blue Jays, relative to the other teams in their division, have been playing pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's just the Orioles have been slightly better, and they were already off to a better start, and that's what put them ahead now.
So, question for you: what do you think is the hardest division in MLB?
I mean, I think it's got to be this one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
the NL East is pretty good too, right? But
like between like those two, I still think our division, like the Blue Jays division, is one of the hardest leagues. Or
like maybe this year it's not even as good as it was the last 2 years. Now that the Yankees are kind of out of the picture, it seems like they're struggling right now. But
like, that's embarrassing.
2021 having 91 wins and coming fourth, that just speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And then this year, like the Rays, Orioles, the way they're playing, and the Blue Jays all
don't count the Red Sox out either yet.
Yeah, I know it's too early for that too. So it is a great division, and we need to at least like right now, as best as we can, make up some ground.
Yeah.
If you look at the record overall on the season, like if the Blue Jays were playing 500 against AL East opponents, our record would be much better, right? But it's
Yeah, I
not.
would think so.
The record's below 500 against
Yeah.
their own division.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, overall, like we said, in a decent spot, could be better. But it's the story of the last couple of years. I mean, 2021 especially, we're still in a better position than that team was.
Yeah.
Which
Made some great additions over the last two
yeah, and you
seasons,
know what?
right?
I think like the deadline, they could have done more. But I mean, having Bichette go out, obviously Bichette's been the best hitter this season, one of the best in the American League.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that enough. He'll be back soon, which is great. But
What are your thoughts on Paul DeYoung?
I mean, he's done a great job defensively,
Yeah.
like we knew he would. But
His bat doesn't
his
come
bat's
around.
not there. I mean, when he was on the Cardinals, right? I remember
Yeah.
he had some. Like I think he was there in the playoffs in 2019, right? That's when I first heard of him, and he was pretty good. But yeah, since then, I mean, he's just not a great hitter. He's more of a defensive shortstop, which
Yeah.
it's good to have that on top of both. But obviously, having him play there every day wasn't really going well.
Right.
And
Yeah, sure.
yeah, not to mention David Schneider coming up and having a huge impact right away.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I didn't even get to watch any of that really because I was at the
I
tournament.
watched it all.
But yeah, so I mean, he's already like, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's cooled off, and they haven't sent him back down yet. Which
No.
actually it was good because today Richards and who else came back off the IL today? Oh, Kiermaier. Richards and
Yeah.
Kiermaier both came back off the IL. Good
Yeah.
to see that they weren't out for long. But
Yeah, Kiermaier
Schneider,
cut the elbow, right?
yeah, Schneider was not one of the guys that was sent down. So good that they're still trusting him. But
Yeah.
hopefully he can still contribute here and there. Obviously, what he did in those few games was huge. We
Oh,
know
for
what he's
sure.
capable of.
For sure.
Now, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, like we had the All-Star game, which I wanted to just mention that briefly. Yeah, obviously Guerrero winning the home run derby.
Yeah, that was
And
huge.
you know what? To be honest, like it was huge. We knew it would be a confidence booster for him. It was great to see him win it. And he was hitting pretty well after that. The home runs were starting to come around, and you know his average and everything. Like still having a pretty good season. I feel like the last couple weeks though he's cooled off a little bit. I don't know when the last time he hit a home run was.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah,
for sure.
He was hitting up to like 280 there. Now he's back down to like 269 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was on pace for 100 RBIs. Now he might be off that pace.
Yeah.
Again, hopefully he gets hot down the stretch because we need him. But
what are your thoughts on Whit Merrifield this season?
well, he's having a great year. And when we were here last time, like it was just before the All-Star break, I think that was actually his lowest point in the season, right?
Yeah, and then he's been pretty well, been
Like,
lights out since.
His average dipped down to like around 280, maybe just below. And that's when I said like, oh, you know, he's having a good year, but he's cooled off. I don't know if he's an All-Star. But, you know, he played in the All-Star game. He got a hit in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And since then, he's been probably having the best stretch of his whole season.
Yeah, he's been like so consistent with that bat.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Again, even the lowest point in the season, he was hitting like 280. Now he's
Yeah.
back around 300 like he has been for a few weeks.
Unbelievable.
And,
right?
He's up in the leadoff spot, which I love it. I mean,
3-hit Whit, 4-hit
yeah,
Whit.
4-hit Whit.
Yeah.
And then Springer was struggling there for a bit. But even with Springer not struggling, like this is what I want to see. I want to see
Oh, yeah.
Whitfield at the
Whitfield, I love it.
Whitfield at the top of the lineup. Pink Whit.
Yeah, for
2-hit Whit, 3-hit Whit, big hit Whit.
4-hit Whit,
Yeah.
quadruple hit Whit.
Just gets 2 hits every single day, no matter what. And then,
Yeah.
not to mention, you know, like he's gonna have probably 70 or 80 RBIs. Not a huge home run guy, but he can hit some clutch ones when he needs to.
And this is kind of like jumping ahead to like off season, but like he's gonna get paid even though he's 35. He's gonna get at least a 3 to 4 year deal with some good money coming in for him.
Is he a free agent?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's a guy I'd like to keep.
I would too.
I mean,
he's
also,
a utility player, really.
the
Right?
team is in win now mode.
And he's more of a utility
And
player.
yeah, actually, we talked about how good he was doing at second, taking that job earlier.
And
now he's playing more so in left field. But,
yeah, so can ask for more.
And then again, BGO, not to mention at second, he's stepped up a bit lately, and
he's been cranking.
He's having a
looking
weird
like his
season.
dad, man.
Yeah, like he's played well at times, but he's also not. He's not quite been an everyday player. But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, if he can either way, regardless of how much playing time he gets, step up when he needs to. He's done that a few times down the stretch here, so.
He's looking pretty good when he has it going, you know.
Yeah. Now, as for Guerrero, I mean, same thing. Like, we just need him to be big in clutch situations. I don't know if he'll get 100 RBIs this year. He's got to get at least 25 home runs. I don't know if he'll get to 30. And then average. I mean, like, like at the end of the day, I mean, I guess it's not quite, the numbers aren't quite where maybe we expected or where we wanted them to be, but
Right.
he's still having a pretty good season overall. And it all kind of depends on how he plays down the stretch, right? Like
Yeah, for sure.
if he gets really hot, he could carry this team a long way. If he doesn't, though, then they'll struggle offensively the way they have been.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it comes
Obviously,
down to, right?
and Bichette again, he's hitting well over 300. Like I expect him to come step right back into it when he comes back. He wasn't out for too long, which is good. Hopefully, he doesn't lose his place in the
Right.
batting average rankings.
Right.
I think he played so much, he's still got enough at bats. But I saw him. He's been getting a few hits in Buffalo on his rehab assignment.
Couple
So
singles or whatever I saw, yeah, too.
yeah, so I think he's just about ready.
Yeah.
And as for like just before he was injured, I remember looking at not just the American League, but the Major League Baseball batting average rankings.
Mhm.
Bichette was like up near the top, and then Merrifield was like 10th. We
Really?
had two guys in the top 10. It's so different than what we're used to with this team.
Yeah, for sure.
Normally you have like three guys in the top 10 in home runs, but then batting average we're nowhere near it. This year it's kind of the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Which, on that note, I mean overall, like although we have some guys that are hitting for average, I mean it's no secret the home runs haven't been there, right? Like
Right.
we don't have anyone who's even at 20 yet, right?
Yeah, like look at Matt Chapman. Like last year he had 27. This year is he even at
Yeah,
like 18 yet? Like
yeah, and despite like the April that he had,
yeah,
but
it's disappointing.
overall, like I think a lot of guys are just slightly underperforming this year. Not hugely underperforming, but a lot of guys just slightly. It adds up to this offense just not being where it's been the last couple of years, not what we expected, and especially having lost Hernandez and Gurriel.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Varsho having a pretty weak year in his standards. He's
Yeah.
been hitting good lately though, but
Yeah, fair enough.
prior to that, though, I mean, like his average is like what? It's down to like 215.
Yeah, it's not like what they
He
said he
got
was gonna
hot
be.
around May there when he hit a few home runs, but we expected him to not have a great average, but like 240 would be nice, and then
Yeah.
hit like 25 home runs. But he's not really hitting all that many home runs either.
Right.
His defense has been great and his speed's been great, and it's nice having at least the lefty option, put that
Yeah.
pressure on the other team's bullpen. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess if he's not a threat though, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. On that note, what are your thoughts on Bautista level of excellence?
Oh, that was excellent.
Yeah. Short and
Yeah, I
sweet.
watched the whole ceremony afterwards because I couldn't see it live.
Yeah, I missed it too, but yeah, like totally deserved, right? Like that flip
Yeah.
was one of my favorite memories in Toronto sports.
And you know what? If we want to downplay like how good he was, like talk about Vlad not having the season we expected this year, like even last year, the season that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had, this generational talent,
Mm-hmm.
his numbers last year didn't even compare to 2011 Bautista.
Is that the year he hit 54 home runs?
That was the year before. It was 2011. He hit like 43 home runs, but
So
he also hit 300,
yeah,
which. And again, I mean, like you talk about Teoscar Hernandez, another guy who we hoped maybe we'd add at the deadline. Didn't happen, but hey, he's a free agent. Maybe he'll come back.
yeah.
He's not having a huge year, but I
Let's
mean,
hope that he just
talk
comes
about
back.
the offense though, like this year versus 2021.
Mm-hmm.
2021, I mean, Guerrero MVP in any other year without Otani. He goes 48 home runs, just short of 50, hits 310, 110 RBIs, 400 on base percentage. But like overshadowed, right there behind him was Hernandez, who I just thought of this because you mentioned 2011 Bautista, but Teoscar Hernandez was right there with those guys. Like
Yeah,
he hit 296 that year, 116 RBIs, led the team in RBIs, despite having Semien and Guerrero as teammates. He led the team in RBIs, 32 home runs, and it's like how many guys can hit 116 RBIs and hit 300?
not very
Guerrero, Bautista, and 2021 Teoscar Hernandez.
many. Yeah,
You look at the team this year though, and it's like and then Semien, not to mention, who was also on that team, hit 45 home runs. But 2021, it was like the offense was so great. I think that was kind of the peak of it.
yeah,
Their pitching, though, and their defense wasn't there.
for sure.
This year, we have the pitching, we have the defense, we have the speed, and we have, like a few guys who are hitting good for average. But we just don't have the power that we had in 2021.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's kind of the issue. We're looking for that balance.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, again, we still have these guys on the roster, and they can get hot and they can carry us, but, we need a guy to step up like Jose Bautista in 15.
Gotta be like almost like a captain of the
Yeah.
guys, you know? Show him like what he's seeing at the plate,
Yeah.
defensively too, right?
So yeah, it just goes to show, like, I think a guy like Bautista we could really use right now.
Yeah.
I heard some people were joking on that day. I mean, like, it was a great ceremony, but they lost the game and everything. People were saying you signed him to a 1-day contract. Why didn't he play?
Yeah. And also, did you see all like the other like I'm gonna say GOAT coaching staff that was there? Like John Gibbons was there, Cito Gaston was there during like the ceremony and all that. You see like former players all back. It was great to see it, right?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, as for the current Blue Jays again, I mean, what do you think of the batting order? They have Witt at the top now, and then Springer's further down. But with Bichette coming back, do you think are they going to shuffle it back, or are they going to keep it similar to what it is now?
If they don't shuffle it back, they're gonna tweak it a bit for sure.
Yeah, I think Bichette's got to be hitting number 2 still, but I like Witt hitting 1.
I do too. Be staying hot, keep
Mhm.
him there, right?
I mean, Belt, like they've had Belt hitting ahead of Guerrero a lot, and he
Yeah.
gets on base, but I just don't really like it. Belt's not hitting the home runs.
He's a streaky hitter this year.
Yeah, and he's not like hitting the home runs like he was supposed to. He strikes out a lot, but he gets on base a lot. He gets singles, gets walks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't really like breaking your order up with that.
No.
I think once Bichette's back, we want to see. I like Springer hitting cleanup even the way it's been right now.
That's not a bad idea, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is he hitting 4th right now, or is he hitting 5th? Like, it's been a little
So,
mixed up the last few games.
Fourth or fifth,
Yeah. But if you have Witt, then Bo, then Vlad, then Springer, maybe then Belt,
Yeah.
or then Chapman and then Belt.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
And then, yeah, and
They
then,
have
like,
lots of options.
somewhere near the bottom, you throw in Varsho, and then,
Kiermaier.
not to mention, I mean, yeah, Kiermaier down to number 9.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Kirk obviously not having the big offensive year, another guy, of course, like we necessarily expected.
Right.
But Jansen, though, like, he's
Jano.
stepped up big.
Oh, yeah.
He's, like, his average, not good, obviously, but he's a catcher. You don't always expect that.
Right.
And then, not even playing every day. He's probably splitting the time pretty evenly with Kirk. He's still going to end up with, like, 60 RBIs.
As per catcher, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's clutch. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy who's been having a good year.
Yeah, for sure.
But
despite all like the hit by pitches and injuries on his part too,
Mhm.
right?
And yeah, it's just tough to watch knowing that, like, this team, like, no, for all this time, like, we've had this great offense. We just
Yeah.
can't have, like, we can't have a 100-win season. We're still there
Yeah.
in the wild card race. This year we get better defensively. Our pitching's been great, and now all of a sudden the offense isn't there.
I know.
You just need to find it both. But I don't know. I think maybe the guys are still there. It's just a matter of getting hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Mariners, who, again, it's a long season. The Mariners off to a rough start. Now they're playing
Yeah.
well, and they're back in the mix. I think
Like
we're
half
about 1 game ahead of them right
I think
now.
today was a half
Half
game.
game.
Yeah.
So you got them coming up behind you.
Yeah.
You need to play well now.
For the best of baseball, right? In
They're the
this
best
situation.
all season, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that just about sums it up. Anything else Blue Jay related you wanted to mention?
I think we covered everything pretty well. So.
Just about.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to maybe briefly mention our fantasy season.
Yeah.
Haven't talked about that in a long time, but
Yeah.
that's been pretty up and down too for me. I
I
got
went-
off to that, yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got off to that bad start, like we mentioned, and then I played really well. I got to 500, just above. And to be honest, I've been kind of playing at 500 for most of the season, like win 1 week, lose the next.
Yeah.
But then the last few weeks, especially with the tournament and stuff and being busy, I didn't really get a chance to look. I've fallen to like 10 games below 500, and our standings are so tight. That's actually bumped me out of a playoff spot. So
Yeah.
I gotta get it together.
My one was like kind of opposite. I started off hot, okay, and now
Yeah.
it was bad. Like, but I'm still in the last playoff spot for like the playoffs. So
Mhm.
it's been up and down for
And
me
it's
too.
2 divisions. One division's better than the other.
Yeah.
But just overall with the standings, it's like every time you win a week by like 3, you move up a few places in the standings, and then
Yeah.
you lose, you move down a few. So I lost 2 weeks in a row there, and now I've ended up in the place I'm in now. So I
Yeah.
think the trade deadline's already passed. I haven't even made a single trade.
Me either.
To be honest, in fantasy, like especially when it's a competitive league,
Mhm.
I don't know. I just like to, because I
Go with the team you
trust,
have?
yeah, I trust the team that I have. I don't like giving up guys. I don't like making trades.
No, I get
I'm
that.
better off just like making roster moves without making trades.
Yeah, like I won 3 weeks ago and tied the last 2.
Yeah.
Now like this week I'm kind of like up and down. in that category, so it's been tough. For
I
sure.
finally gave up on Tim Anderson, which that
Good
was
call.
probably long overdue. He's having a horrible year.
Yeah,
I drafted him relatively high, and I was like, "Oh, this is a steal. He's going to be great."
I feel like a knocks in the face by Ramirez.
Not good.
Yeah. Okay then.
Oh well, yeah. I guess that's about everything.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're going to be doing this all the time now down the stretch. No taking time off. It's this is what we're here for. It's the dog days of the season. Every game matters. There's a playoff atmosphere.
Yep.
And I tell you, next week we're going to be back here with a guest.
Yep.
Done it a couple times. We're doing it again next week.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Well, who is it? Is it Charles Barkley on the panel that says guarantee all the time?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Well,
Okay.
thanks for watching, everyone.
Yep.